Hi, this is No Reviews. Today we're looking at the Sennheiser Momentum 3 wireless active noise cancelling headphones. These close-back over-the-ear headphones are well built, offer great clear sound, and get 17 hours of battery life. Here's the short of it. If sound is your top priority and $400 fits your budget, you should consider these, especially if you find them on sale for under $350, which is not uncommon. Stick around for the full review or check out my quick review video. It's under 4 minutes long and has all the same conclusions. A few things you should know. 1. I bought this unit for review. This was not sponsored and I received nothing from any company. 2. The links below go to Amazon and I get a small bit of commission if you click and buy. However, my purpose here is to inform, not to sell. Here's what you get with the package. You get the case, you get headphones, you get a USB-C to USB-C charging cable, USB-C to USB-A adapter, and a 2.5mm to 3.5mm headphone cable in case you want to plug in to listen. Let's take a look at the case. It has a cloth exterior that feels good to the touch. However, it is very big and bulky. It kind of looks like a cake. It's squishy like a cake too, though it is firm on the top and bottom, just not on the sides. This should be fine in a bag, but if something lands on it, it might crush the headphones. Honestly, I wish they'd given something a little bit more protective. Inside it is padded, which is good, and it has a pocket for cables, but that just makes it even more bulky when you pack it. Inside the case, the headphones are stored by being folded. This means that they're off. You open it up to turn them on. Now, the problem with this is that you can't really keep them on a headphone stand because, of course, the battery will drain. Something also I want to call out is this hinge right here. You can see this arm is metal, and this is on the sharp side. If you open it up and your hand is in the way, you're gonna get bit. Speaking of metal on the side, let's talk about the way they look and feel. The Momentum 3s have a very distinctive look. They are made out of sheepskin leather in the headband and on the headphone cushions, metal along the side, and plastic cups. They feel like a sturdy premium set of headphones, which for $400, that's kind of what I would expect. They do come in at 311 grams or 11 ounces, so they might feel a bit heavy. They also come in two color patterns, white and beige, which is what I have here, and black and gray. Both of these have the same distinctive metal arms along the side. On the sides of the right cup, we have all the function buttons, the charging port, and the auxiliary port. Note that most of these buttons are rubber, not plastic. They feel fine, but they wobble a bit, making this set feel a little bit less premium. Note too that there are no touch controls, only the buttons, and it does come with a reference guide. Wearing these is an interesting story. In short, the headband took some getting used to because it hurt the top of my head a bit at first. The ear cups are fine, they're large and they're comfortable with a medium clamping force, but they may not work well if you wear glasses. Overall, these are mostly comfortable, though I had some issues initially after about 45 minutes of wearing them. The headband itself has a good give to it, so it will fit large heads comfortably. The leather up top is smooth to the touch, but it is somewhat stiff. This made it so that the top of my head hurt after using these for 30 minutes or so the first few days. Eventually, it felt better, but it was never really truly comfortable. Maybe someone with big fluffy hair would be okay with this, but that is certainly not me. Down in the actual headphones, you have the adjustments. This is done via slider. There's no clicking. And it is firm, but it is easy to adjust. The padding too is firm, but it is soft to the touch. The cups are big enough to fit even my somewhat large ears. As a consequence, I really had no ear fatigue when wearing these. Inside, it stayed relatively cool, so no major heat buildup. The clamping force feels good too. It's not too snug, but not too loose. Because the cushions are a little on the firm side, if you're wearing glasses, these may not be great. Between the firm cushions and the clamping force, these eventually hurt my head when I wore them for too long. Also, glasses will audibly impact the bass response. Speaking of bass, let's talk about sound. Two technical points. First, these are Bluetooth 5.0 headphones. Second, these handle the following codecs: SBC, AAC, aptX, and aptX low latency. What this means is that everyone should be able to use these with most regular equipment. Now, to the sound itself. I love these things. It has a magnificent listening experience with clear separation, especially in the mids and the highs, and a well-controlled bass response. Unlike other headphones in the same price range like the Sony XM4s, you don't have the bass muddying the mids. The bass is, as I said, well controlled and not at all head rattling. It doesn't really thump, but you still can get great driving levels by tweaking the EQ that still somehow leave the mids clear. The bass boost was great when watching movies, by the way. In their default settings, these are especially good if you enjoy music with a lot of natural acoustic sound, but they're good for any kind of music. Listening to music is a pleasure with these, and I wanted to be able to listen to these all day. Absolutely one of the best listening experiences I've had with Bluetooth headphones. Note that these aren't quite audiophile quality, especially when wireless, but they get close when they're wired. What you're paying for with this price range, however, isn't just the sound, it's also the technology. Moving on to active noise canceling. The Momentum 3s have excellent noise canceling capabilities. Not quite up there with the Sony XM4s, but they do hold up well on their own with better sound quality to boot. To turn on active noise canceling, you would use the switch on the side of the headphone. But using the software, you can also select one of three modes. Anti-pressure, which is the lowest noise canceling setting, and it's good when you need a bit of canceling, but you don't want the cabin pressure feeling. Anti-wind, which is what you'll need if you're walking around outside and it's windy. And max, which is what will shut down just about everything outside, except, strangely enough, wind when you're walking around outside. In this mode, the cabin pressure effect is definitely there. When in noise canceling mode, you can also choose to let the outside sounds coming in using transparency mode. This is turned on and off using the same button that turns active noise canceling on or off. The good thing about these headphones is that turning them off and then on again doesn't reset your noise canceling settings, a problem I've seen with other headphones in this space. On phone calls, my voice was clear enough to the person on the other side, but I was told it sounded like if I was on speaker. Still, the microphone did block wind and outside noises very well. During teleconference calls, however, this was another story. People complained that I sounded muffled. I eventually had to switch to a different audio source, and it may just be a matter of expectation. The app that controls these headphones comes for iPhone and Android only. Connecting to the app itself was a little bit on the spotty side. I needed to kill the app and launch it again to reconnect, and it may require rebooting the headphones to connect. This is not a Bluetooth issue, this is an app-specific issue. The software itself, once you're in, is simple to use. It's designed to get you in, you make your change, you get out. Speaking of EQ, you get a graphical equalizer that lets you just point where you want the emphasis, and the EQ will adjust accordingly. If you want to do something a little bit more manual, you can also adjust the three ranges that you are allowed to adjust using the app. That's bass, mid, and treble. It's not very complex, but I do wish it had more default options. In fact, I wish there were any presets. You can add as many individual EQ settings as you want, something that many other headphones in the same space don't allow. Now on to additional features. As I said before, at this price range, you're not just paying for the sound, you're paying for the technology behind the sound. And this is where you really see some of the differentiators in this market. With the Momentum 3, you have some of the standard features like Smart Pause. You can set these up so that when you take off your headphones, the audio pauses. By default, it's supposed to turn back on when you put them on, but that wasn't always the case. Now you can turn this setting off, and I checked. Sometimes though, it would play for a second and then stop, and I'd have to press the multifunction button to unpause it. If you download the Tile app, you can use it to track these in case you lose them. I like the concept. I have never had great luck with Tile, and unfortunately this was on par. Sometimes I'd be next to my phone with my headphones on, playing music, and the Tile app just couldn't find it. So I'm not a fan of Tile, but I am a fan of the concept. When it comes to pairing, you can pair these with multiple devices. So, that's great if you have 5 or 6 devices that you want to bounce around between. The cool feature is that you can have 2 actively paired at the same time. Now that's common in this space now. So you use the software to switch between actively paired devices. This will let you do something like listening to a TV show through your Apple TV or something, and then you take a phone call when it comes in, and it just switches you right over. The experience in this was pretty solid for me. I didn't really have any issues. Here are my takeaways. Looks and build. These are attractive with an almost industrial look. They include sheepskin leather, plastic on the sides, and metal on the bands. It's a good mix between modern and classic that provides a sturdy premium feel. If you're a vegan, however, sheepskin leather is a big no-no. The case. It manages to be both bulky and not terribly protective at the same time. Comfort. These are okay, and while the headphone pads are large and comfortable, the headband was stiff and painful after a short while. For people with glasses, they may cause issues. I got used to them over time, the way that they felt, but I never really relished being in them. Note, I did say a short time. For me, a short time is anything under an hour. Sound quality. For the category, Bluetooth, closed-back active noise canceling headphones, the sound is magnificent. Even without changing the EQ, these sound great. A natural sound with lots of clear separation in the mids and the highs and a well-controlled bass. If you like bass, these can be EQ'd to have some pretty ridiculously great bass. Features. These have all the features you'd expect of a tech-heavy headphones at this price range, like the ability to connect to multiple devices at once, a decent enough microphone for calls, and of course the towel integration. Active noise canceling. It's simple but effective and should cover all your likely scenarios. Transparency mode is also included, which you can hear the outside world when necessary. Cabin pressure effect wasn't too bad, and the anti-pressure setting worked very well. The software itself was simple to use, but a little finicky when connecting to the headphones. Battery life worked as advertised, but if you need more than 17 hours, you should look elsewhere. For the price, again, they sell for $400 at retail, but you can find them for under $350, and in some cases in eBay, you can find open box items for under $300. Other options. In the same price range, you should take a look at the Sony WH-1000XM4s, or Sony XM4s for short, the Bowers & Wilkins PX7, and the Shure Aonic 50. If you don't want active noise canceling, take a look at the Drop Pandas, the Hi-Fi Man Diva, and the Audeze Mobius. For a similar sound and a lower price, consider the Sennheiser PXC 550 Mark IIs, which retail for $350 but can be found for $250 or less. If that's still too much, consider the Sennheiser HD450 BT wireless noise cancelling headphones, which you can find for between $150 and $200. Now for the big question. Are these worth it? Should you buy these? Look, you should consider these if sound is your top priority and you tend to like a more natural acoustic focused sound. Would I buy them for myself? At this point, no, because of the comfort issues, which is a shame because I absolutely adore the sound. In fact, the actual act of listening to music in these is truly enjoyable. And when I was listening, it is all I wanted to do. But I didn't ever actually want to put them on. Once I did, the sound was great until they started hurting my head or pressing my glasses. If you have a chance to try these out, I highly recommend you do so. If these had been more comfortable, there'd be no question on a buy recommendation. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is No Reviews, and if you'd like to see more, please be sure to click the subscribe button. Until next time.